I'm going to be evaluating my stop motion Alice in Motionland. First of all, I got the idea from Alice in Wonderland, because I used intertextuality and I used Alice in Wonderland as the text. Alice in Motionland is because it's a stop motion. The opening was actually the hardest part to film, because I put a lot of pressure on it being the Alice's entrance. It's always a big thing when a character's first time being seen on screen, so I wanted her to make a good impression. Oh, the writing came and disappeared way too quickly, and plus the cuts as well were actually too quick. I think I would have done that part better. The flat part and the trainers actually took the longest as well, because people kept coming in and out. I wasn't even going to use that draw me open sign. I don't know, I just really wanted to use something to transition her from the room to the thing. The key part, I wasn't that smooth. Honestly, I wouldn't have used it, but I had no other. When I was editing, I had no other way for her to get into the house. But it wasn't smooth. And it looked like a wheelchair sign as well. It wasn't clearly a key, but definitely would have did that smoother. The part where the doors open is way too bright. It wasn't that bright when I was editing, but when I exported it, I realised how bright it was. This part, this was the part when Alice was actually supposed to transform into Alice from the from here, in this area here. She was supposed to come in, and my mum was going to hold a tray and make it come out of, I think, that door there, and with the drink me little capsule on it. She was busy, so we made the drink just walk out of the door by itself, but that didn't work either because the lighting was very dark. Her going into the kitchen, transforming into the kitchen, was much better because there was better lighting. I think when she entered the kitchen, I think it was one of the best scenes for me, because it was just, the white background was just, I think it really worked. The face wasn't even planned, but it was so nasty that she made that nasty face, and then it worked, so I kept it. Originally, there was supposed to be some papers that go up her legs, and then one by one we take the papers off, but it didn't work out. But it turns out that the black bag works so much better. It's actually one of my favourite parts, and one of the smoothest parts as well. The piano part, now that was a part of the issues in editing. I tie them both together because the issues that I had on set, it showed within editing. It caused a lot of problems when I was editing, because it was because I had very low lighting within the house, and so anything that's videoed in here is very dark. You can even see it in the ending scene when she gets pulled off and she's screaming. It works, I guess, because it's supposed to be scary, but I didn't really like it. If I had my own way, I wouldn't do it like that, because it was just so, the video quality was so poor for the last part when she's getting out of the washing basket, and even this part as well. I think that was the next thing, natural lighting interfering with the stop motion, because we did do it in a house, so there were a lot of windows around. Natural lighting was a big problem, because the sun would come and then it would disappear and then it would come again, and I'd have to keep readjusting the light, so that was quite annoying. You can see that there was, in a part of it, there's tungsten lighting, and then it changes to shade lighting, but I colour corrected my way through the whole of this, like through all of it. The football part was probably one of the smoothest parts. I did enjoy that part. And the sound effects worked the best on that one. Also the water part, which is really bright, brighter than it was when I was editing, but it worked. Oh, that Play-Doh man, there was supposed to be about 3 Play-Doh men, and one of them was supposed to go to the radio and press it and change the music, but I couldn't make an army of Play-Doh men. I only had enough for one. Now the suitcase part was all planned on the day. The invitation, the printer part is also one of my favourites. she couldn't actually fit in the suitcase. We had to put her in and then close it after. The tea party part was like, it was decided on the day. There was a lot of stuff that was in and then that was suddenly out, and a lot of stuff that were not planned and was suddenly in. So like obviously the tea party part, I had no idea what was going to go on in my room, because that was my room that we shot that in. I had no idea what was going to go in there. It was supposed to be a sock party, but I didn't know how I would do that. I thought back to Alice in Wonderland. I thought, right, let me try and make references from here, from that film, to put in my film. Let me try and use Alice in Wonderland as inspiration. So I watched some scenes and I used it to help me, to guide me to know what to put. So I used a tea party part. There's a black hole that gets made out of papers and she nearly falls in. Then she wakes up, but we couldn't recreate that. Then she was supposed to be swallowed by a sheet. It was supposed to open, you know how a duvet opens, but we couldn't recreate that, which was very frustrating. But then I thought of the Jabberwocky and how it like Alice has like an enemy to fight, or a monster that she has to battle, and I think that I use a sheet to represent that. The Mad Hatter, you can see the checkered shirt at the end of the table, because it was supposed to be a Mad Hatter, but which I made out of a doll, but I didn't have enough shots of her, and she didn't really have much of a character in this. And the lighting, I hated the lighting in this, and I didn't really mind the lighting. It was just a bit grainy. I love the roses, the white roses part, which is another reference. Now I only changed the music because the music turned out to be longer than the stop motion, so I said, all right, well, it makes sense to change the music because the mood is changed now. So I said, let me add some Jaws. I did colour correct it a lot and put a little more blue in the shot so that it looked like nighttime. And then this is probably my favourite part as well, the trainers winking and then Kayan's eyes at the end. How I got the idea was basically when I got the task, I was really excited about the animation because I'd never done anything like it before, and it just seemed really interesting. And then I was very interested with the whole idea of personification, like even though stop motion is basically personification, but like making things come to life, but I was more interested in like giving objects an actual character and making it seem like it was alive. So I initially thought of an idea that my sister's toys came to life and she fell asleep, but when I looked at her toys, I didn't think I had much direction there because there wasn't a lot that I could do with it. So then I thought of a house coming to life and like objects are moving and like there's a storyline there or something, but I couldn't think of the storyline. I couldn't think of anything to connect things together, and that's where the whole Alice in Wonderland idea came through, because when I thought about it, Alice was basically just a girl being taken into this world where she didn't know what was going on, and I think that using her really helped me transition from one shot to the next, one room to the next. So she was like the connective that I was looking for. It also helped me to form my target audience, because you have the younger audience who from the Disney film, and then the older audience from like the Tim Burton film, like this psychedelic style fantasy kind of thing. And so I had a quite broad target audience because I've showed it to adults and I've showed it to young kids, and it has appealed to both of them. I think that's mostly because of the technique that I use. I think that stop motion really allowed an audience to be intrigued into it, because not a lot of people know the technique of stop motion. Like they just see, oh, these shoes are moving by themselves. They don't know the technique, and I think it intrigues them because it's not something that you see on TV every day. Why I did what I did, why I animated what I did is for the intertextuality basically, so like making references from the film to my stop motion, like I mentioned, with the Jabberwocky and the Tea Party. I used the trainer to represent the White Rabbit, obviously Alice. Also I kind of incorporated a bit of Matilda in there as well. In Alice in Wonderland, she doesn't know what's going on, but within my stop motion, she seems a bit more in control. Why I used the framing that I did, well, I didn't use a lot of long shots. I only probably used one in the beginning because it's more for like an establishing shot to show like where she is. But I used mostly close-ups and reaction shots when just filming, because you know, you've got this girl and she's seeing all these weird things. You want to see how it makes her feel and how she reacts, so it only seems appropriate to see her face expression, which Kayan, my sister who played the Alice, was really good at, and she really helped sell the story and made people more intrigued into it. I also use a lot of like mid shots or eye level because it really involved the audience into the stop motion. If the shot is quite far away from you, you can't really focus on everything in the shot, whereas if you're using like an eye level shot or a close up, it highlights all the components within the frame. That's why I use a lot of those type of shots. The lighting, I use a lot of natural lighting. I adjusted, you know, like shade and stuff like that. Why I used what I used is because of I walked around my house and just like looked at what I could animate, like the teapots. Yeah, I just walked around and saw like what could work, what couldn't work. What went well was the bin part, where that was quite smooth. KM, who plays Alice, was very easy to work with, so I didn't have much problems like directing her. It was very straightforward and we got through things really quickly. The soundtrack, why I used the soundtracks that I did was because I think they best suited the stop motion. So like I used an instrumental of Sia Chandelier, and I did like a effect where it was coming out of, it sounded like it was coming from my headphones. When she took it out, it sounded like it was background music. And then I had Michael Jackson's Liberian Girl. It was like she was about to discover something. It was like she was going into this enchanted world, and it's like it really helped with the atmosphere. I knew that I was going to use Head That I Hold, Electric Guest. I knew I was going to use that song. I didn't know I was going to use the others. It's just a happy, upbeat song, and it really just went well with the theme and the mood. What didn't go so well, obviously, as I mentioned, the lighting, the different, there's different lightings. What I did is I put each stop motion scene into a separate sequence and exported it, and then put it into the main sequence. But I wasn't exporting it in HD, and also because I was playing with the I was just getting used to the camera and thinking that I was adjusting like the lighting or the focus, the lighting. I was really changing the size and trying to fix things that I didn't know how to fix. If I were to do it again, I would make sure that the lighting was the same on my camera, so no changing from daylight to tungsten light. I'd make sure that everything was as smooth as it can be, that the key part wasn't as smooth as I wanted it to be. Make sure that it's the right size. Make sure that I have good lighting everywhere. Just like maybe use some extra lights or something, like a lamp, because it was very grainy. But apart from that, I really did enjoy making it, even though it was frustrating sometimes, because stop motion is a very long process. I enjoyed making it, I enjoyed editing it as well, seeing it all come together, and it was very fun, and I learned a lot, a new technique to use.